Well, yesterday was packed. If you're anything like me, you probably had the Dev Day stream running in the background while hacking away on your own project. So before I start wiring these tools into my workflow, let's just blitz through what dropped. I want to hear what you think in the comments. What's exciting? What's all hype? And what should I actually try first? Just real quick, I'm Daniel. I've been in the iOS trenches for 8 years now. Started out freelancing, helping clients ship their ideas, learning the hard way, what actually works, and what just burns you out. But after Dub 25, I went all in on solo dev. Since then, I've shipped a bunch of my own apps, started building everything out in public, and lately, Crafter's Lab is where I've been putting all my energy. It isn't just another tutorial site or Discord to scroll past. This is my real home base for solo devs who treat AI like a teammate, not just a vending machine. Every deep dive guide, app blueprint, design workflow, even the exact Notion team spaces I use daily, they're all live here. SwiftBrain, the full agents ops, and even my own playbook with real MD files. It's all finally in one place on a private indie first platform. If you want real systems, real code, and a real community for solo devs, not just another AI clone farm, that's what I'm building. And yeah, if you're a part of the Patreon crew, huge thanks. But heads up, everything's moving over to crafterslab.dev. So the first thing out of the gate was this new idea of apps within ChatGPT. Basically, you can now pull in entire websites or chunks of their functionality directly inside ChatGPT. The example they showed was making a Spotify playlist, not just brainstorming tracks, but actually building the playlist and pushing it live to your Spotify account, all from inside the chat. Now, I'll be real, this isn't news for most indie devs who've been hacking their own browser automations, but the difference here is that the integrations are frictionless. You want to run a quick search on Zillow, pull up flight prices on Expedia, generate a Canva graphic. It all happens inside the chat window. For solo devs, this is both wild and a little terrifying. On one hand, it means fewer context switches, fewer browser tabs, less API wrangling just to do your research. On the other, you're giving up a slice of control, which always comes with its own trade-offs. Here's where I land. If you're building anything that glues together multiple APIs, or you're that person who scripts your own dashboards just to stay sane, this could actually save you real time. I'm not dropping everything for it, but I'm keeping an eye on how fast these apps within apps workflows actually hit the indie world. Now, the big headliner for devs, Agent Kit. I'm not even going to pretend this isn't a shot across the bow at every other agent builder out there. The pitch is classic: spin up a full AI agent without writing a line of code. Just drop in your logic, connect to data, and go. Here's the truth. I've played with tools like LangChain, you name it, and every time there's this moment where you realize, wait, I still need to know how my app actually works. I still have to think. Agent Kit is no different. You get this pretty flow chart interface, conditional statements, ways to orchestrate your agents, file search, multimodal components, all the stuff we've been hacking together by hand. It's slick, sure, but the hard parts are still hard. What makes this one different for solo developers? Honestly, it's the speed. You can wire up real workflows, experiment, break things, and iterate, all in the time it used to take just to scaffold a repo. Is it magic? No. But if you're tired of context switching between your design doc, your shell scripts, and whatever bash alias you barely remember, this could streamline the glue code that usually eats your evenings. I'll try it, but I'm not betting my product on a no-code agent. Not yet. Still, if you need to prototype agent behavior fast or want to loop non-coders into your process, this is worth a serious look. All right, the moment everybody was waiting for. Sora 2, video generation with an API. I'm not going to lie, this is the one that made me stop what I was doing and just stare. Because here's the thing, every indie dev I know, sooner or later, has a feature idea that would be so much better if you could just spin up video on demand. With Sora 2, the workflow is dead simple. pick your model, throw in a prompt, hit go, and yeah, you'll wait a few minutes for the generation. But when it lands, you've got a real video asset you can drop into your app, your marketing, or even spin up an entire side project around. There's a pro tier, and yeah, the API pricing will probably make you think twice before running a full render farm on your hobby project. But for indie devs, this is pure leverage. You don't need a design team or motion graphics studio anymore. You just need an idea, a prompt, and a willingness to hit retry until it's good enough. The catch? It's still a creative tool, not a replacement for actually thinking about what story you want to tell. If you just want video as wallpaper, you'll get it fast. If you want something that feels right, you'll still be spending time tuning your prompt, iterating, and honestly collaborating with the AI like it's your weirdest, most tireless teammate. Now let's talk about Codex. If you're already bouncing between Claude Code and Codex for your solo workflow, this is where it gets interesting. They rolled out Codex everywhere in Slack with a full SDK, better usage tracking, and the kind of analytics you actually care about if you're running more than one agent at a time. The big move is that you can now build your own agent experiences, plug them into Slack, goodbye, endless email chains, and even treat Codex as the glue for your own indie apps. The SDK angle is huge, not just for teams, but for solo devs who want their own flavor of AI teammate instead of the one-size-fits-all vibe you get out of the box. You want to roll your own PR reviewer, your own little UI fixer, or an agent that actually knows your code style. You can. The kicker, real usage analytics. If you've ever shipped a tool, handed it to a user, and wondered, wait, is anyone actually using this? Codex now lets you see it all. For me, that's more valuable than any new model. You don't improve what you don't measure. And here's the one everyone's sweating. GPT-5 Pro is now in the API, up to 400,000 tokens of context, which is, yeah, more than you'll probably need, unless you're doing giant repo audits or writing your next novel in a chat window. But the pricing, that's where the real indie pain starts. $15 per million tokens in, $120 per million out. It adds up fast. So, what does this actually mean for solo devs? Honestly, the AI is free phase is over. The new models are better, faster, more context aware, but you have to pay to play. For me, it means being way more intentional. I'm treating the API like a high-end power tool, not a magic slot machine. You want big context? Great, but keep your prompts tight, your files focused, and your workflows efficient. If you are already using Claude or Codex to accelerate your day-to-day, this is a nudge. Clean up your prompts, keep your Claude.md sharp, and know exactly what you want before you hit send. Otherwise, you're paying for every extra token and every context miss. For some projects, that'll sting. For others, it's the price of working at the bleeding edge. And two new models, GPT Real-Time Mini and GBT Image, one mini. Both are stripped down, way cheaper versions of the headline models, built for speed and cost savings. If you're building voice apps or want to spin up image gen for your onboarding flow or your indie website, these drop your cost by about 70%. You still get the same intonations, same human quality, just at a fraction of the price. What's the real story here for solo devs? It's honestly not about having the most powerful model. It's about shipping more. With a cheaper voice or image model, you can afford to run experiments, build features, and not sweat the budget every time a user hits generate. It's incremental, but that's how you win as a solo builder. It's not the hero features, it's the 100 tiny wins that add up to a product people actually use. All right, before I wrap, I want to highlight the demo they did with the agent builder. Not just the conditional logic for orchestrating your agents, but actual conditional UI widgets. Think, if this flight is delayed, render the red badge, else keep it green. You're not just wiring up backend logic, you're literally letting the agent drive the UI for every user in real time. I've been burned by AI-driven UIs before, But this one looked surprisingly mature. You can define your own widgets, control rendering from your own classes, and crucially, you can keep the agent in the loop as you update your app. For indie devs who are tired of maintaining one UI for every edge case, this could be a real unlock. And it's a big but, you still need to own your code. The agent helps, but it doesn't get the last word. So, yeah, that's my take on OpenAI Dev Day 2025. A tidal wave of new tools, plenty of big promises, but honestly, I'm only betting on the stuff that fits my actual indie workflow. If you're here still listening, you're probably the kind of dev who cares about the how, not just the shiny new what. If any of this sparked ideas, or even just made you roll your eyes, let me know in the comments. I genuinely want to hear what you're building, what's tripping you up, and which of these new agent features you're actually going to use in your own projects. And if you want to dive deeper or even get access to every resources and system I use day to day, check out crafterslab.dev. It's my home base for real solo devs. No hype, just the stuff that works. Anyway, thanks for hanging out. If you enjoyed this, toss a like, maybe subscribe, or just pass it on to another solo dev who could use a little less hype and a little more honest workflow talk. Keep building, keep experimenting, and remember, solo doesn't mean alone. Catch you over at Crafters Lab or right back here in the next one. Peace.